Thanks for listening to our first ever health potion segment of TDG Gaming Podcast. We chat about our thoughts on all things mental health and awareness, also how you and your gaming community can help each other. Remember, we're not healthcare professionals and do not give professional advice. If anything we discuss helps you consider seeking professional help, please speak with someone that can do so for you safely. Drink responsibly, and remember, you're not alone. All right, what's up, guys, and welcome to Health Potion segment of the Drunken Guardian Gaming Podcast. So I'm your host, Danny Martinez, and today we got Randy, the Ragnarok, and Boneless Bones, Kevin. Say hi, guys.
Do I say hello?
Of course.
You didn't clarify. Hello.
We're just like, all right, when's
I'm introducing you guys.
Hi, Bone Stones.
So
not the regular introduction.
Yeah, not the normal, usual, like crazy introduction. This is more of a relaxed, like a little bit more chill type of segment of the podcast where I just want to really just talk with you guys and kind of open up a little bit more about our own struggles and stuff like that and how we cope with things, especially being like hardcore gamers and stuff, because we're not the only ones out there that kind of deal with, struggles of depression, anxiety, ADHD, lots of different things out there that we can possibly talk about and help each other out with as a community. So that's kind of like the idea of this whole segment. And you'll see we're going to work out the kinks, of course, when it comes to like introduction and just not necessarily audio quality, but production quality of this segment to see how things go and how you guys receive it. And aside from that, I really wanted to do this to just help people out there, because I know I'm not the only one who kind of like uses gaming as a way to escape. I kind of use it to make myself feel better on those rough days. And sometimes I won't have a rough day and I'll still use the gaming to kind of just make sure that the day goes smoothly. And I don't know if you guys kind of do the same thing with that, whether it be gaming or like comic books or animes and things like that. Because I know you guys aren't just gamers. You guys do a lot of other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Besides gaming, I do art with copper wires. That was my coping mechanism when I was younger, but now I just feel like I don't have enough time to do it. So usually what I would do is break one apart and then start from scratch, and I'll get like maybe like a week it would take me to do one, when usually it would take me a day. But that's the best option I have besides gaming. But like that's the coping mechanism I have per se.
Okay, that stuff kind of helps though when you just trying to stay calm and zen, I guess, in a sense. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to get used to this, like doing the episode and not like trying to talk over everybody. But yeah, it's hard like not trying to talk over somebody and get your point across. But yeah, it's besides the usual, like going for a walk, taking a ride on your bike and everything, like it helps. I wouldn't say it's like the end all be all like cure for any mental health or any issues that you're having, but it helps to like have an outlet for it that's not violent or self-destructive or destructive on someone else. Like, it always helps to have an outlet for that frustration or that feeling, you know what I mean? And again, it goes everywhere, but it's not easy to find your thing, for like your niche for the outlet. And it always takes time. Give it a search, and then you'll probably find it, honestly.
Yeah, trial and error type of thing. Yeah, I know it's a different format for us here. Like, we're trying to do some more stuff like audio only. We kind of don't see each other's like faces, and we don't know what we're saying or doing to kind of be like, all right, I'm trying to get my point across now, and trying to, the gaming stuff that we're so passionate about. We like to argue and kind of make sure our points are heard. But I guess this for topics like this is more of just like we kind of want to hear each other and understand each other more on where we come from with the different things. Everybody's different when it comes to how we deal with our problems. As for me, for example, like I was diagnosed with major depression. So gaming has always been there for me to deal with, the world out there that kind of I didn't understand as a kid, and kind of learned a lot more when I got older. So I kind of want people to understand that gaming can be something that can be used as a tool to kind of help you cope with a lot of things, but it also shouldn't be used as a crutch, because that will actually do more harm than good, if anything. I don't know if anybody has that same viewpoint, or they've gone through that situation before.
Randy, you want to insert?
Right. So yeah, no, definitely. Like gaming could help you out with a lot of things, but at the same time, you can't kind of just depend on it. That's with everything, not just gaming. But it can only do so much to help you with what you're feeling, what you're going through, whatever escape it is that you need. For me personally, like with games, I try to find just like something with like really heavy story, just so I invest myself in it.
Hmm.
Because personally, I find it to be like a really good distraction. Whether I'm frustrated, whether I'm like feeling down, or whatever the case, like just it's something to kind of get me through, to be like, oh, you know what, fucking maybe there's more to imagination, or whatever the case. Like it helps. It's not a one-dimensional thing of, oh, I'm just playing this, I'm doing this, and that's that. What I try to do is to find something that makes me think, whether it's try to find a different point of view for what I'm going through, if there's something similar to that, or just to like, how to put it, I guess entertain myself with something that definitely can get my mind off of whatever the fuck is messing with me. I'm pretty sure whoever's listening to this, and if they're a long time listener, they've figured out that we all have our own kind of niches. Mine being the whole story with Kingdom Hearts. It's an inspiring one to me personally, but it's also one that could make me kind of deep dive and think about a lot more than what I'm feeling. You know?
I definitely get the sentiment of like story being a way to also distract yourself from like the the problems you have. No, I wouldn't say problems, because I feel like saying problem is like saying it's a bad thing. I would just say the issue that you're dealing with at that moment, or like internally.
Hmm.
And like the same way that you have story, for me it would be like music from games is you can get so immersed in the music and not even know that you're that immersed. Like honestly, like playing Sonic Adventure, and I know I talk about it, but it wasn't the reason I love the game because the gameplay itself. It's mainly like the music. Me and my brothers, like we memorized every song. Like it was like we were on the choir or something, and it always made me happy to know like music from a video game did this. It wasn't
Hmm.
like Beyonce or Jay-Z or whoever, like whatever artist at the time. It was just like music from a video game, and ever since that, I was just like, if music can make me feel happy, where can I find the music to make me happy? You know what I mean? And it seems like it's a cope, but it's more of a way to help me, I would say, find the right way to deal with whatever I'm dealing with, whether it's frustration, depression, anxiety. Like music is like honestly been there the whole fucking way, and I'm glad that I discovered video games and the music behind in the video games, like from a young age, and it changes. It literally changes your fucking life, honestly, like really does.
Yeah, you see that there's these different aspects in video games. It's not just gameplay that distracts you or makes you feel better and stuff. It's just like the music, it's the story. It all depends. Everybody's different. I want to mention that, like, a lot of people out there, especially much younger ones, mind you, I feel like I'm an old man. I'm pretty much an old man, but yeah, I still been there when I was younger. Is that there still can be a bit of a stigma when it comes to people who play video games as being either childish or just too nerdy, and it's kind of like a waste of time and stuff like that. I think anybody who's listening should know that none of that is true, as long as you're not allowing video games to get in the way of the regular life stuff that you need to do. Of course, also depending on how old you are. If you're a teenager, you don't have a job, you don't have anything, no any bills to worry about, you have less to have to focus on. But when you're an adult, you still got the bills to pay, you got relationships to handle, you have people's lives on the lines, if you or creatures' lives on the line if you have like pets and things like that. Don't let the video games get in the way of that. But also don't let people make you feel that video games are a waste of time because everyone has their own coping mechanisms. A lot of people, quote unquote, who waste their time on fantasy football. A lot of people waste their time on watching wrestling. You know, a lot of people waste their time watching all these sports or UFC and things like that. It's bull. Everyone has their own way of coping. Video games could be your way. It could be card games. It could be, Randy and all of them, they play Magic the Gathering a lot. And I love my animes. I love my comic books. Those are other ways to escape and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you don't let it get in the way of life.
Said.
I don't know if anybody else has anything for that.
No, I mean, like, that's very true. Because some people, like, they end up like catching a vice and they end up getting lost in it, and it becomes everything that they know, and that's not okay. I mean, like, you shouldn't fucking, how to put it, you gotta find like a middle ground
Hmm.
where you're okay while you're still not okay.
Mm.
Because obviously, you could try to find a distraction, but it's not going to help you overnight. But that's what you're going to learn over time, how to figure everything out, how to make it easier for yourself, how to cope with shit. And it's just find the balance in everything. Like, play video games, watch the shows that you want to, listen to the music that you need to, and
Walk the dog.
don't. Huh?
Walk
Make
the
sure the
dog.
dog is
Yeah,
fed.
no, fucking walk your dog. Fucking when I used to have a dog, dude, that shit was therapeutic as shit. It was really nice because it's, you know what, within these four walls, I can't find what I need. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go outside, but I'm going to go outside with someone that I want to be outside with,
Mm.
someone that makes me feel okay, right?
Hmm.
So as long as you have that thing that makes you feel right, then, fucking do it. As long as it is totally fucking okay too.
It's healthy. It has to be healthy.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because there's also a thing of, I don't mean to cut you off, but there's also a thing of like people, me, for example, where they resort to drinking to find a way out,
Hmm.
right? And that's not fine. And I'm aware that it's not okay, but it's kind of hard to break out of the habit because it's what I know.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So if I don't have the time or if I don't have the position to play what I want or listen to what I want or just kind of find a self-expression, I resort to alcohol.
Mm.
So I'll drink and I'll keep on drinking until I think that I feel okay. And it's going to be pretty shitty the next day. But you know what? I felt better than I was prior to that.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
condone this, but it's definitely a thing that it's, you know what? It's possible to have, and it definitely is an addiction, but it's possible to have that addiction that could seem helpful, but you really got to ask yourself, like, how long is it going to be helpful for?
That was a part of what I was going to mention before is, and now that you mentioned, drinking as well, y'all know me as the drunken guardian. And, and that's mostly not just because, I like to drink, because honestly, I actually don't even drink that often, but I love the bar industry. I love making cocktails. It's kind of, I'm definitely nowhere near a Gordon Ramsay, but I like to think that I'm a chef that, like, kind of like in the eyes of Gordon Ramsay, is like picking out and choosing all these different flavors and all these different spirits and all these different liqueurs and stuff and mixing them all together and making something amazing that someone can enjoy. But you still have to kind of drink responsibly. You have to be careful with how you're drinking, because when it comes to drinking, when it comes to gaming, that stuff can help you escape. That stuff can help you cope and deal with a lot of the problems that you're dealing with, whether it be for the day or for the week. But you have to always remember that stuff still might be waiting for you after you get off that chair, after you
Mhm.
get off that bottle. That
Yeah.
stuff is still going to be sitting there, and you kind of have to figure out how you're going to deal with it afterwards. So, gaming, if that is an escape and if that's a way for you to cope, that is going to be a temporary fix for anything that might be going on with you, underlying, that's more serious, whether it be, trying to figure out how I'm going to pay these damn bills, or how I'm going to have to speak to my mom about something that she probably doesn't want to hear.
Mhm.
Is a lot of things like that are still going to be waiting for you. So just keep that in mind. It's not a way to get rid of your problems. It's just a way to kind of postpone them and kind of help you bring your emotions down a little bit, I guess,
Mhm.
in a sense. I don't know if anybody agrees with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with the sentiment of I don't know if breakdown would be the right word, but I would say it would help you. Some video games help you maintain a more calmer and I would say like steady more way of thinking, because sometimes when you're dealing with whatever outside problem that you're dealing with at the moment and you go to video games, it kind of would help you not be so angry or not be so sad.
Mhm.
And it's, I'm not going to say it's often, it doesn't always happen. There's people that play video games just for the fun of it, but for the people that use it to escape, it's, I would say it would be hard to say that your passion for it, because everybody that plays video games has a passion to play video games. It doesn't matter what it is. Like everybody's passionate about video games or whatever title that they are. Randy would be Kingdom Hearts, Dan would be Destiny, mines would be like at the moment Dragon Ball or any fighting game like prior. And there's a limit that you can use your passion to escape, and that's the thing that we don't want. We don't want you to use video games as a mean of escape from whatever you're dealing with, because
Life.
because you can't escape life. You can't run away from that bitch. She's gonna follow you regardless. You know what I mean? That's what it is. She's gonna follow you regardless, whether you are doing the best at the moment or the worst at the moment. What you can use video games for is an outlet for your emotion at the moment, and it'll probably help you discover what's not wrong, because I feel like that's another word that I shouldn't be using, but what's making it difficult for you at that moment. You know what I mean? Like it helps you. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Every time you play a video game and you get past the level, you're like, oh yeah, I did it. It'll probably help you deal with whatever way, like a different way. And I'm not going to say that it is always going to work. It doesn't always work like that. It's not a one size fits all kind of situation. For some people, it does happen. For some people, it doesn't. Maybe after they get frustrated and throw the controller for the 13th time on Dark Souls, they just go about their day and they're fine. It was just the frustration. And
That's one of those things too. Like some people are still emotionally unstable when they play video games because they end up breaking controllers and stuff because they can't handle certain games or not certain games, but I should say certain challenges, whatever the game may be. And if you're breaking controllers or breaking TVs and yelling at people because of this stuff, granted, you can be a little bit competitive, you can get a bit loud. I still do that sometimes, but when you're breaking things and ruining people's lives or their day or whatever it may be, that's going a little bit too far. So maybe there should be a different outlet for you rather than playing these games, or maybe different games you should be aiming towards, something a little bit more chill, like Journey, something
Or
just
fucking Mavis Bacon teaches type shit.
stop playing Dark Souls, stop playing like some fighting game that it's just not working out, whatever it may be. Play something a little bit more chill, maybe a walking simulator,
PC simulator changes your life. I'm not gonna
play Euro Truck Simulator. Fuck that.
No,
Yeah.
it's too difficult, honestly.
Oh, Goat Simulator. There you go.
Oh, yeah, there you
God.
go. You get both. You get the destructive nature and you get the nature of being a goat.
Yeah,
and just
exactly.
causing tyranny.
Was it the Goose Game? Yeah. So things like that. There was there's an article that I want to read real quick, and this kind of involves the stuff that we've talked about, especially with emotional intelligence and kind of like how video games can help with emotions and kind of help you cope with the emotions, but they can actually have the opposite effect. And this is what this piece of this article is talking about. It's from healthygamer.gg. And I'm sure in future episodes, we're going to talk more about this specific article, but because there's multiple parts to it, but this is one part I wanted to read. It says, quote, video games are correlated with increased depression and anxiety. However, correlation does not necessarily imply causation. People who are unhappy or depressed are drawn to video games because they help to suppress negative emotions. They develop a gaming habit that causes them to get stuck in life. Naturally, they end up being unhappy. There is a difference between clinical depression and feeling unhappy. Someone can be content in life but still have underlying feelings of sadness. That is clinical depression. However, if you are stuck in life and are not moving towards your goals, then you will most likely be unhappy. Sometimes you can have both, and it becomes hard to distinguish one from another. If you think you're depressed, it is best to get the opinion of a licensed mental health professional. So yeah, that's one of those things also you guys got to remember that none of us here are mental health professionals in any sense. So any advice we're giving you, Yeah. Any advice we're giving you, just remember if you think there's anything wrong or if you think that you might need some help, we're not the ones to really give you the help. We're kind of just here to nudge you and to kind of make you feel like I want you to feel that you're not alone in this. That's mostly the goal for this. If you feel like you need help, seek professional help. Look for that help any way you can from a hospital, a clinic. Talk to your parents, talk to any guardians, things like that about seeking some. Because trust me, it actually helps. Like we'll probably make another episode or something about therapy because therapy can actually work when you find the right person. But aside from that, yeah, with the emotions and stuff like that, as it mentions in this article, games can suppress negative emotions. So sometimes they don't help you. They'll still be underlying and they don't help you cope with how you're supposed to really handle those negative emotions. And then you outwardly just kind of make it worse once you're done playing games. And then, you can't handle your emotions even more so because of it. So you kind of have to have that balance. Like, what was it?
Randy.
But is that my cue to talk or
Oh,
like?
yeah.
I was like, how are we doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, you got to find the right fucking ratio for everything. Because it's like me personally, like I can only do so much gaming until like I get burnt out, and then that kind of wears me out.
Mm-hmm.
Because okay, I'm here, I'm worn out. What do I want to do? I want to play a video game. I want to escape. I just want to like, be okay. But then I play a video game, and then I play it too much, even if it's within like that same fucking hour or day or whatever the case. It could end up being a lot, and then after I like get spent from that, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, dude, what the fuck do I do now? How do I feel?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then after that, it's like, all right, now what do I play? What do I do? What do I listen to?
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds stupid, but like for that, like my best option is to sleep it off or whatever the case.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's tomorrow's problem is going to be, tomorrow's problem.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's today, I'm going to push it back for a little bit. But it's like, you know what? Let later Randy figure that shit out.
Oh man,
Not me.
that's as messed up as it is. That's my favorite line. I'll be like, let future Kevin deal with it.
Yeah.
He's not
No, yeah.
dealing with
And
that
the
shit.
thing is, it's like sometimes that could actually help because you might end up in a better state of mind than you were at the moment that the problem was facing you.
Mhm.
But also sometimes you could end up even more fucked up than you already were.
Yeah.
And I don't mean fucked up in the sense of, oh, it's wrong, but it's just fucked up in the sense that you don't know what to do. So you're sitting there, you're lost, you're
Mhm.
confused, or whatever it is that you're feeling. But whatever it is, you can't find a solution for what it is that you need to find a solution for.
Mhm.
So what do you think that you think if you can't find a solution for something, you could just jump into your gaming, or should you find out solutions before you can start your gaming?
Most of the time, personally, if I can't find a solution, okay, biggest thing, if something's bothering me and I don't know what it is, I try not to pay so much mind to it because if it was as important as I'm making it out to be when I'm upset, then I would know what the fuck bothered me. Right? Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's okay. So I'm sitting here and I'm just like, shit, I don't feel okay. But why? And 5 minutes later, why do I still feel bad? 5 minutes after, I don't understand why I'm feeling like this. All right. So you know what? If it isn't registering to me, maybe it's me overreacting. Maybe it's not as important as I thought it was, or whatever the case. But just I'm gonna try not to pay so much mind to it, and maybe a distraction could help.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes it's as people we tend to fuck ourselves up just for. I'm pretty sure that you guys have encountered yourselves kind of just giving yourself more shit than you deserve over the smallest kind of thing. Where
Absolutely.
you're just like, oh, maybe I fucked this up. Maybe I didn't say the right thing. I handled this thing the wrong way. I didn't attend to this customer the right way, or I didn't do this. I didn't talk to my family the right way, or maybe it wasn't enough. But whatever the case is, you're probably overthinking. And it's okay to think about a lot of things. It's okay to think about what you did. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with overthinking, but it only becomes wrong when it becomes harmful to yourself. And once you see that, then just stop being irrational, figure it out, maybe distract yourself. And about half an hour later, if you're like, wait, why was I so upset? And you can't find a fucking answer, then forget it. It's not
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, you beat yourself up over it. That's when you end up in that rabbit hole of just like
Yeah.
that one thing turns into another thing that bothered you, and then you hate yourself for that. And
Mhm.
then it turns into another thing that you just remembered you did last week that was stupid.
And then you,
You
you
hate
you end up
yourself for
fucking
that.
around and you're just like, God damn it, middle school Randy was so stupid. Why did I say that?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, fuck.
Yo, the fact that you guys are talking about this right now, it kind of reminds me of like earlier today where I was like pissed off for 5 6 hours, and yeah, because about work, but like it was just like all the stuff I was thinking about. I was like, man, I'm tired of this. Like I'm like, fuck this guy, fuck that guy. I swear to God. And then I was thinking of like arguments that I had in the past, and then I was like, but why does it doesn't matter anymore?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's we're over, that situation's over and done with. If it's not over and done with then, it's over and done with now, and there's nothing you could do about it.
I
The
think
point.
when it comes to like work or school, like for your situation, like there's one thing I would recommend that you could do right there on the spot,
Mm-hmm.
and I would recommend this to anybody, and that's just meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Like meditation, and meditation is not you like sitting in lotus position, floating in midair like Dalsim, and
Yeah.
like that's not what you're supposed to be doing. Like you could literally just hide yourself in a stall somewhere, in a bathroom or a closet, and take 5 minutes and literally just hear yourself breathe. That's meditation. That's how easy it can be. Of course, it takes a lot of practice when it comes to focusing more on just your breathing and self-awareness, because your mind tends to wander a lot towards anything and everything going on, whether it be stimulus outside the room or your problems or plans that you need to make or chores that you need to do, just everything in life. So it takes a while for you to kind of realize that you need to bring yourself back into just your breathing. And that kind of helps you relax. That brings your anxiety levels down. That kind of helps you focus more on just how you're feeling and bring that down. So that's what I would say helps, and that has helped me out a lot because I try to do it as often as I can. But another thing, and again, we could talk about therapy some other time, but in therapy, there's this thing called CBT. I think it's cognitive behavioral therapy. And I've taken that myself. And what it is, when you're feeling some type of way, you stop, and then you actually give yourself like an inner dialogue in your head, and you just, okay, why am I feeling this way? What made me feel this way? How can I make myself not feel this way? Can I do anything to change how I feel this way? Can I change anything that to whatever it is that made me feel this way? All those little variables and stuff like that. And for the most part, it helps you just realize you can't change anything on the outside. Like, for example, if it's a particular person that's pissing you off, you can't change that person. You can't change what they've said or done, or what they will say, or what they will do, or how they are as a person. You can only change yourself and what you can do with yourself. So it kind of makes you focus on your own emotions and how you can cope with it and handle your emotions specifically.
You know what's something that I think it's another way of saying that is you can't control their actions. You can only control your reaction
Right.
Yeah.
to anything.
Exactly.
And like it's for me, it's more I have a lot of anger issues, and that's the problem. As happy and chipper as I may seem, I do get angry. And the thing is not that I get angry and I start throwing punches, is that I get angry and then I would say, bundled into so much frustration that things that I don't need to get frustrated about. And that's what
You
keeps me stuck there.
explode.
Yeah. So then I get literally, I get compressed with anger to the point that it's gonna explode on the next stupid matter, and it
Right.
doesn't. It could just be somebody bumping into me, and then that sets me off.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
it's hard to control that. So I'll definitely take up meditating, because I feel like that's the only thing that kind of
Yeah.
caught
There,
me.
there's fucking YouTube is your friend, man. YouTube, like you can find so much free shit on there.
Yeah.
Like I personally, every morning I use an app on my phone, which like normally you have to pay for it, but luckily I get it for free only because I'm a student. So
Hmm.
students get it for free. But there are apps on the phones you could use. Just as soon as you wake up in the morning, you kind of turn that on. It'll help you. It'll walk you through meditations and stuff,
Hmm.
or show you videos or just different techniques and things like that. Because there's different ways to meditate too. There's meditations that help you focus more on your body. There's more on your breathing. There's meditations where you're moving yourself around and kind of feeling your body as it moves. There's walking meditation, there's floating meditation, not literal floating, but like it make you feel like you're floating. There's deprivation, sensory deprivation, sorry. There's just so much shit. So just yeah, just find your own niche and kind of see what works and what doesn't.
So what
Go
you're
ahead.
saying is I won't levitate. All right, cool.
No,
It's a good deal for me.
Sorry to break it for like to you.
Just
Yeah.
not levitating. I'm not in. I'm out. But yeah, I can definitely say breathing, like just hearing yourself breathe for a few minutes is relaxing when you're in that state of mind of frustration and aggression. Well, yeah, in the same state of like just being frustrated and upset at whatever it is. And breathing for 2 minutes it wasn't that I couldn't do it. It was that like I was so preoccupied doing so much stuff that like just the 2 minutes of me breathing kind of just it kind of stopped whatever I was thinking about. But then well it didn't stop it just held it for a few seconds, and then I just went back to being upset. And like just me trying to get into that mindset of it's not as severe as you think it is. It could be worse, and like that's usually how I calm myself down. Like I was like, it could be worse. The day's almost over, or whatever it is, and then you're getting out of here. Like that. Like that's always a way that I would try to calm myself down of whatever. But to each their own. It doesn't. The way I deal with my situation is different from everybody else's, and I don't recommend you do what I do because for me, honestly speaking, I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's to be like, oh, you're going to be okay, and sugarcoat your feelings because you're obviously upset. I would say the best way is just to vent, talk to people. You'll probably feel better. Most of the time, people do feel better after they vent, and if you go for a walk, clear
Well,
your mind.
I would definitely say just be careful how you vent as well.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be
Yeah.
appropriate with the type
Yeah.
of venting, because that's one of the things I wanted to bring up was a lot of people would see the gaming community as a bit toxic because of how people like to vent about things not going their way when it comes to the gaming industry, whether it be like a game not coming out on time or a game being broken or something not coming out for a particular console, just a lot of different things like that. And people don't express their emotions the way they should. They start to resort to death threats, and they resort to violence, and they resort to just a lot of cursing and stuff like that. And, I'm even cool with cursing, obviously, like I'm good with the language and all that stuff. It just all depends on context and how you use it. But when you're just using it just for pure negativity, that's where things aren't healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those the advice that I mentioned before, or like the stuff that Randy and Kevin talk about, like those are kind of things you should take into consideration to kind of get more emotionally involved with yourself and understand how you're handling your emotions and how you should handle your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good topic too. Actually, we should talk about at some point. Another episode. It's just strictly just about how toxic the community can be and how they should be coping with things. I really don't think they should be acting the way they should. And a lot of people, will vent, and I'm guilty of it too. But a lot of people will vent and saying that's fucking stupid. That shouldn't do that. They're a bunch of fucking morons. And yeah, that's the stupid me saying it, and that's the me saying it like the angry me. Talking about that stuff, but there's a real way to kind of handle it and to explain it to those people that there are real ways to handle it. Yeah, just to handle it.
To just say my piece on it, and I'll probably say it when we do bring up this topic again, is that I feel like we look at like gaming companies as like some omnipotent like god or something, or like your parents when you were younger, and you look at them and they're like not even a final boss, they're just like the boss that you see in the beginning of the game that you can't beat, and he one shots you.
Yeah.
Like that's how everybody looks at like the video game companies, and at the end of the day, they're people just like us. They deal with their own problems and stuff, and it doesn't help when you add your baggage or I would say your opinion at the time, negative, more so negative, because that's the problem that I wanted to talk about. A more negative comment on somebody that's already dealing with something that's more frustrating on crunching time and trying to get this game out as soon as possible. It doesn't help to be negative. Support them, be understanding. because you wouldn't want somebody on your neck every day saying like, when is it coming out? When is it coming out? When is it coming out? Because it doesn't help. It just aggravates the individual. Give them time. They're people, honestly.
I don't know. I mean, it's just a kind of a tricky slope to go down.
Mm.
Because it's really easy for us to say, oh, you know, this should work for us, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But for someone else to listen to it or follow it, it all comes down to them. And I certainly hope that, you know, people do kind of come across this and be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm being irrational. And I don't mean irrational in the kind of sense that it's, oh, you're being a fucking idiot, but just like irrational in taking things to an extreme. So sometimes video games aren't for everyone, and that's totally understandable because there are people that, you know, oh, I'm upset. I want to play a game and I'm going to go ahead and, dude, literally fucking me and League of Legends. I shit you not. I'll be bothered and I'll be like, hey, you know what? I want to play a game of League, just have fun. I don't have fun, then I'm even more annoyed. I'm just like, fuck. So in that case, it's like maybe you shouldn't do some of these things, and slowly you learn your lesson. I know not to play League when I'm bothered because that's not going to take me anywhere good. I don't know. There's a lot of things that should be touched up upon, like in later episodes, on later days. Just again to reiterate them or like to flesh them out fully, because you can only say so much within a certain time frame. Honestly,
yeah. I want to keep this episode shorter so that way people could listen to it a lot more quicker. So this is actually longer than I wanted it to be, but I mean, it's all good for the first episode. We're just getting a feel for everything, so it's all good for now.
I'll end with this quote from
RuPaul.
He says it in. I know it sounds dumb, but I took this quote like to heart, and it's, if you can't love yourself, how the hell can you love anybody else?
Hell yeah,
no, very true.
That's something that I always I take to heart. I'm like, if I want to understand other people, I have to understand what I can do positive, like outside, like to everybody else. That's why I always give people a loving gesture. Like, I talk to everybody that I meet, they're my best friend, even if I don't know them, because it's a warm welcome or whatever, or a warm engagement with somebody can change your whole perspective, and it can literally change your day. Like, honestly, give a little bit of positivity in video games or not. If video games aren't helping you that day, go watch a Netflix movie. Go watch anything. Go watch a movie that you don't like just so you can shit on it, and then enjoy that instead. Yeah. Enjoy that. That's a positive. And then you can make a living out of it. Do YouTube videos like shitting on bad movies, and that can be something that an outlet, like anything that's creative as a outlet is beneficial than anything negative. Like, negativity doesn't bring anything at all. It just brings more negativity. We don't need that, and you definitely don't need that in your life. Honestly, it's better without it.
Yep. True words. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good quote to end it on. Just, how could you love anybody else if you don't love yourself first? So just make that a priority also. Brought to you by RuPaul. So yeah, so that's it. I'll leave it at that, and we'll try more episodes like this. This was actually kind of nice.
Flesh it out a lot more later on.
Oh yeah, we'll work out the kinks and stuff. I'm sure it'll be better, and things will go a lot more smoother. There is something that I want to mention to everybody at the end of every episode. Well, not to you guys specifically, but just anybody listening, is that we're talking about this to help everybody, not just one person, but as many people as possible listening to the show. So just remember that you are not alone. You're never alone. We're all in this together. We could all watch each other's backs and stuff instead of being a quote unquote toxic gaming community. All right. So let's watch each other's backs, and we'll see you next week.
Hashtag not all gamers.
That's a good one.
Hashtag later, guys.
Bye. Later.
Bye.